Hello, everyone. A very good afternoon to those of you who are in Asia, like Angie and I are, and Charpang as well, your facilitator are, and a very good morning to those of you who are in Europe, together with Adam, who is your another facilitator. So hopefully you all had a very good rest over the weekend a few days ago, and then excited for this week. Sadly, today will be the last live session as part of the official program. However, it's not going to stop here today. You are going to embark on the action learning phase. So with that information, let me welcome you to today's session on ideation and discussion on designing innovative teaching practices as part of the peer-to-peer session 2 for the holistic learning environments for innovative teaching and learning. So let me quickly introduce you to the agenda for today. We are going to have a very brief conversation regarding the purpose for this session, and then we are going to introduce you to some of the suggestions that we have on how to start getting started with the action learning phase, and then also introduce you how you will be supported by us as well as your facilitators. And then we are going to have a breakout room session today. Basically, during the breakout room session, we want to kick off the discussion on ideation, and then we'll have a question and answer session. The most crucial part, we'll come together as a group. I think those of you who were in the other school collaboration already have an idea of how it took place. And then we'll introduce what's next, where we need to kind of make some decisions regarding the dates for next follow-up meetings. So let me put a disclaimer before we begin. Ideally, we wanted to have this session already in assigned teams. However, not everyone has completed the exercises, so it put us in a bit of a complicated position to kind of create team without having all the information. So really, we apologize to those of you who have completed the information and completed the exercise. Thank you so much for that. And hopefully, those of you who haven't done the exercise yet, please do so as soon as possible so that we can proceed. So why are we doing this session? Basically, we want to kind of, sorry, I already gave the reminder. Please, for the 2 exercise, complete the one on identity envelope by tomorrow. We urgently need it to create the teams. And then for the impact activity exercise, you can do it by Saturday. So it shouldn't take more than 10 minutes for impact activity exercise. You have already done it in a group setting during the last session, so it should be fairly easy. Okay. So the key idea for having today's session is to kind of break the ice a little in terms of the discussions we are having. What we want to do is we kind of want to talk about the teams, and then how you want to coordinate the action learning phase together with your team, and then what you need to do in terms of keeping us in the loop. So first of all, some of the suggestions we have is we will send you the list of the team members by tomorrow. It will be available on the learning platform, and we will be also sending individual team emails. So for example, if you are in a team of 4, you will be receiving an email from us regarding the team information, who is in your team, their contact details. Because of privacy policy, GDPR and PDPA, we cannot just directly share all of your email addresses with all of you. So we will be sharing in teams so that you can contact each other and then decide whether you want to have the action learning phase in a WhatsApp group or Facebook group, whatever communication channel that works for you. So please wait to receive that team information from us. We will that team invitation email, you will receive it from us. And then as I just mentioned, you need to decide within your team what kind of communication channel you want to have, and then what kind of, in terms of timeline, what kind of time framework that works for you, whether you want to have a weekly meeting, bi-weekly meeting, it's totally up to you. And then, of course, everyone's participation is crucial. However, at the same time, we are aware that sometimes, some of you might be really busy and might not be able to get a start with your activities right away with your team. In that case, even if you cannot contribute, please inform your team members so that they know what's going on. As a team, if you don't hear from any of your team members within 2 days, please let us know so that we can follow up with them and then we can support you. If we don't hear from them sooner, then we cannot consider them as part of the team anymore, because we need to move on. We only have about 3 to 4 weeks to complete the action learning phase. And then, of course, we really sincerely appreciate that as teacher, despite your busy schedule, you have made time for us throughout all these live sessions. So we hope that you can continue to do the same during action learning phase, and then you participate in meetings that you decide to have as a team regularly and punctually, and also you contribute actively. So who are your support system during the action learning phase? Of course, your team members. So your team members are the one that you will be working together with, and your team members are the ones that you will be having a deeper conversation regarding your ideas to implement. And then your team members will be the one also that you will be developing the teaching practice together that you will be submitting to us at the end of this phase. So they are your team members. So we hope that you can have a meaningful collaboration, and you can also have some fun when you are having the team collaboration, some intercultural elements. It's totally up to you how you want to make your group work activities like more fun and creative. And of course, you will be part of a smaller team, 4 to 5 people maximum, right? But you also have this bigger group of 70 plus teachers coming from diverse background. And we have a Facebook group where you have teachers from other school collaborations present as well. So if you have any questions related to when you are struggling with ideation, when you are struggling with any part of the teaching practice, then you can just post a question in the Facebook or discussion forum on e-learning platform, or you can just, email us so that we can share with everyone. So please count on your peers in addition to your team members for support as well. And Adam and Chorpang, they will be with you throughout this journey. So any questions you have, any pressing questions you have, please forward it to us so that we can share it with them. And then we will also decide as a team how to best facilitate this support system together with the facilitator. So we will share more update tomorrow. And for any questions that you have, for any challenges that you have, your go-to point is, of course, the ASF ClassNet team. So please send us an email at classnet@asf.org with any questions that you have and any challenges you face. And all in all, we hope that you can deepen your knowledge, the knowledge that you have been building over the last few weeks mainly from the self-learning phase during your action learning phase. And also you can inspire your peer to create an innovative teaching practice. So let me quickly remind you again about the impact activity, 1 to 3 impact activity. This is a guiding tool for you. Since we are having this school collaboration on the topic of holistic teaching and learning, we were trying to think what kind of framework will work better. So we didn't want to introduce a complicated framework, an academic framework for this school collaboration project. We wanted to introduce something that focuses more on the impact and your core values as a teacher, because as individual teachers, you all care about different things. You all care about issues that significantly matter in your own classroom. So for that reason, we want to kind of have the whole focus on impact in terms of how you want to how you want to create a teaching classroom that matters to you, how you want your students to describe that classroom, as well as how you want to integrate the key outcome that you want to create for your students in this through this innovative teaching practice. So I hope that when you did the exercise, you had an understanding of your values, and when you work in a team, hopefully it will also give you an idea of your team's, your peer and your team members' values. So when we send an email for team, we will also try to share the impact activity and the impact that your team members care about. As long as everyone do the exercise, it's also easy for us to share that insight with you so that you get to know each other a bit better. And together with Chorpang and Adam, we will be working on a template basically that template is mainly for reporting purpose. So when at the end of this school collaboration, when you submit to us the type of innovative practice that you have built, we want to know what was it, right? We want to hear about the key activities you carried out or plan to carry out, or the key outcome this, the practice you design contributes to. We want to know all that. So depending on what we want to know, depending on what are the key elements from your teaching practice that are good to highlight in a report, in a future SF ClassNet report, we will create a template and share that with you, hopefully in next 2 weeks. And again, this 1 to 3 impact activity is such a simple activity that kind of gives you a moment for reflection. So we are using this tool to kind of help you, again, the type of teaching and learning environment you want to create with a focus on holistic teaching and learning practices. And then we want to, kind of reflect on, as educator, what's important to you, not only in your own classroom, but in a whole school setting as well. What kind of teaching and pedagogical strategy that matter to you in terms of achieving the key outcome that you want to achieve for your students. And for and I think in the end, what we really hope is that you can build that type of innovative teaching practice that not only help you to achieve teaching goals that matter to you, but also matter to your team members. So something that you can build collectively. So do you have any questions at all, depending on the suggestions, support system, and the impact activity tool as a framework? Do you have any questions at all? Please feel free to ask so that then we can address them now. You can raise hand, or you can also type in the chat box. Any confusions, any questions, any clarifications that you need on the information I have shared so far? Okay, so I guess if you don't have any questions, I don't see anyone raising hand. Adam and Chorpang, is there anything you think I should highlight at this point, or shall we move on?
I think that everything is clear so far, okay. And I think that everybody understands the principles of our work.
Yes. So yeah,
everything should be clear.
So that Chorpang was also trying to speak. Is it? Do you have any questions?
I just want to ask that when the groups are formed among themselves, they can just appoint a leader, a natural leader, to just lead the discussion through the 3 questions.
Yes. I didn't catch the last part. Could you repeat? Sorry, Chorpang.
Yeah, once the group is formed, maybe among themselves, they should appoint a facilitator.
Yes.
Lead the discussion.
Yes, that's a very, very important point. Thank you so much. So I think when we introduce the teams to you, it would be better. We will try as much as we can from our side, depending on your contribution, who contributed in terms of the ideas for impact activity and then identity envelope. We will try to kind of at least select a facilitator. If not, we hope that when we introduce the team, you can amongst yourself decide who should be the focal point in terms of communicating with us and also in terms of communicating within the team. I think that would be better in terms of effective collaboration. So yeah, thank you so much for that. So with that, we are going to have a breakout room discussion now. That's one of the key parts for today's session. Please, as we have already mentioned, please note that the group members that you will be talking to today, it's not your group member for the action learning phase. That team allocation is still in the process of finalization, and we will share that with you soon. So the key things we want to discuss is among the 5 themes that were covered during the self-learning phase: relationship building, active learning and engagement, inclusion, teaching social and emotional skills. Okay, what was the other one? Can anyone help me? Let's see if you remember the other topic. Which one did I forget? Relationship building, teaching social and emotional skill, active learning and engagement, inclusion,
resilience and
resilience. Yes. So funny enough, I forgot the one that I really care about. So thank you so much. Resilient and grit. Yes. So among these 5 themes, you can either create a teaching practice where you integrate all of those 5 themes, or, considering the time, not to make things too complicated, you can decide on, you maybe just want to focus on one thing. For example, how to create an environment in your school where everybody cares about creating an environment for nurturing resilience and grit among students, or teaching social and emotional skills, since this is a very important topic and it became evident, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. So maybe that's one aspect you want to focus on. And for that, I'm not sure if Mark is here today. Mark's school, so Mark from Cyprus, your colleague, they introduced a kindness calendar to talk about kindness in a school setting every day. So that's an example of an impactful activity that you can do. So you can either decide on one topic, or you can decide on several topics and merge them together when you are building your innovative teaching practice. So that's something you can discuss as a group. What do you want to work on and why? And also, if you think it will be complicated to focus on too many things, or if it will be easier to focus on one thing. So we are going to just have an informal conversation about what makes more sense. And then, of course, we want to ensure that whatever we are doing, whatever you are doing through this school collaboration project is contributing to something, right? I think suddenly we cannot just invent or reinvent everything. Our whole idea is whatever is happening in your school environment, in your classroom environment, we want to kind of empower you and enable you through this collaboration to contribute to the existing effort. So we want you to reflect on what is your school currently doing to create holistic teaching and learning environments. How can you contribute to the existing efforts? In case your school hasn't done anything so far, which is not surprising in some countries, then what can you do? Like, how can you contribute if something is missing? So that's something you can discuss. And then, how can you create your innovative teaching practice in a team that not only capture your values, because, when you did the impact activity, every one of you have different ideas and different issues that you care about. However, when you were working in a team and jointly creating something, how can you work together that captures the collective impact coming from all of you, all of your values? So that's something you can discuss, how to address that, how to work around that. And so you will be discussing in 2 groups. So the idea is that if you, depending on what you share, depending on what your peers are sharing, it gives you some ideas. So let's say today you have a lot of ideas. So please feel free to share it with your peers. If you don't have an idea, please listen to your peers so that you can help each other out. So we're going to have 2 breakout rooms where you will have Adam in one group and you will have Chorpang in one group. Please don't expect to if you have any questions, like, don't expect that Chorpang and Adam will have answer to everything. They are mainly to kind of listen to your conversation so that they can prepare better to support you during the action learning phase, and also to kind of gather the key information from the breakout room so that when we come together as a bigger group, we can address that. Would you like to add anything, Adam and Chorpang, to what I just said, to clarify anything, or is it clear? Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
Any questions from the participant? Do you have any questions? No, okay. So thank you so much, Angie. Angie already posted the question in the chat box. So when you go to the breakout room, it's mainly for Adam and Chorpang's information. You have the question, already in the chat box. So you can go through each of them. And we will have about 30 to 35 minutes of breakout room. I will check in with you first, how the conversations are going, if you need more time. So I will visit the breakout room, each of your breakout room, to kind of see when is a good time to close the discussion. Okay, so how was the discussion? And I think, please, Adam and Chorpang, like from your group, what were the key points discussed? How can we have this conversation as a group now to kind of benefit from both groups, like the type of conversation that happened in each group. And I saw Martina was doing wonderful leading the discussion. So thanks for that.
Yes, so I must, yep, Chopin, go ahead.
Okay, thanks, Adam. Yeah, let me start. First, I want to thank Martina for leading, for stepping up and taking the lead. I think there was very good sharing and discussion, although I think we didn't really conclude at the last question. But anyhow, the group, after hearing from various people, decided that we'll just focus on active and engaged learning, because that theme, resonated with many who have shared, as well as social emotional learning, right? Social emotional skills. Then we went on to share what various schools have been doing, to look at active learning and social, the teaching of social and emotional skills. I think among various things that has been mentioned is, number one, students should have a choice, to choose the range of activities so that they can participate in what they like. I think there is also this talk about raising awareness, so that they know that there is a need for such a skill. For example, the variety of activity is important, so that you cover the ground. And then I think Ralph was talking about, the school, which is quite unique, providing both academic as well as vocational education. So in this case, you target two different, broad groups of people. And among skills that is also done at various schools is digital skills, lifelong learning, and a whole range of extracurricular activity. I think Ralph as well has talked about, one-to-one coaching to support students. I think this is really to customize helping students at the individual level. And some schools involve themselves in competition and in international projects, so that they get a chance to interact beyond school and beyond their academic area. And autonomy, yeah, student, should have autonomy, to manage their time. One school talked about, the school doesn't have a bell, they have to manage themselves to make sure that they are self-disciplined to go to class according to schedule. And of course, community engagement activities was an important part, where people are brought into the community to do some work, that benefits society. But one proviso here is that, for big schools, sometimes it's really difficult. But ultimately, the teacher is the key to bring about this change. And the way they design and plan their lesson is important. And then finally, it boils down to being reflective as a teacher, looking at how, the teaching and learning process can continually improve on a day-to-day basis. Yeah, trying out new ideas, engaging students differently so that the processes become better and better each day. So in all, I think one of the key things probably I would like to add on as my observation is that school can do many things, but it's really not helpful until we introduce what Michael Fullan says. Michael Fullan uses this word called systemness. In other words, how do all the individual parts integrate into a coherent whole? And this is what then will make sense as a school initiative to bring about critical change. So I think there's need to really look at all the individual moving parts and ask ourselves, how can we combine them and keep them in motion as a coordinated whole, so that we can bring about the system change that we want. Yeah. Okay, that's all from my group.
Thank you so much, Chorpang, and I'm happy to hear that you have mentioned Michael Fullan. I really love his work as well. So I think that the focus on system level change is quite crucial. And also hopefully the insights that you have shared, the other group, hopefully they also kind of got to know about some new insights that perhaps they haven't discussed in their group. Martina, would you like to add something from the discussion, or anyone from Chorpang's group? Would you like to add anything? Okay.
Yes, I would. There was one colleague, I think she was from Hungary, and she was actually complaining about the lack of time. Yes, so she only has 1 hour, 45 minutes, and she's supposed to do this active learning. She would like to develop relationship with the students, but in Hungary, the system is not, as you suggested, is not really working properly. So tomorrow, she is going, I think Georgia was the name, she's going on a strike. So that's what I wanted to add, because they are complaining about the way in which the school system in Hungary is working. Is that correct, Chor? Was it Hungary? Was it Hungary? Yeah, okay. So that's something that I wanted to add, because she was really passionate about it. So yeah, thank you.
Wow. Well, that's such a powerful insight. Thank you, Martina, for sharing that, and for what was the name of the Hungarian teacher? Sorry, I forgot. Is it Adrian? Because whenever you talk about Hungarian teacher, I think I think of Adrian, because she has been part of so many of our projects. Who was it?
I think it was Georgia. What was her name?
Okay.
Was it Chor? Was it?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Georgia. Yeah.
Yeah. First of all, heads off to you that you are taking a stance on something that you are passionate about and care about. I'm not sure if it's helpful, but I want to share this small example. So I did a field research in a Norwegian school where actually they had this system of teaching one class for the entire day. So for example, today is physics day. They will only talk about physics, nothing else. So the whole day they dedicate to one subject, and the school administration introduced it thinking that it will kind of help students, feel relaxed and not move on from one classroom to another, switch their mind. So that was their rationale, and it worked out for them. Students liked it. And then, I mean, there were some resistance, of course, as well. However, somehow through mutual conversation, mutual respect, and through like different layers of conversation, they kind of ensured that the system works. So I'm not sure if that's an idea that perhaps, like, of course, considering your school context, your country context, can be thought of. So I just wanted to share that. So Adam, please go ahead, and what was discussed in your group?
So let me just add, Joy, to the thing that you've just mentioned. In some Polish schools, teachers come up with an initiative of organizing project days or project weeks. Okay, yes. So in this way, it's somehow similar to the system you mentioned in Norway, and I think it's very effective, and it's a very good idea, especially if you conduct such projects, like, during the last week or 2 weeks before holidays, or at the beginning of the school year, just to make everybody feel good at school, to make feel confident at school. So in this way we care about students' feelings, about their well-being, and thanks to that they get positive attitude towards school, towards teaching and learning. Okay, so as for our discussion, we had a great discussion, and I must say that when we talked about the things in our group, I got the impression that we are kind of a family, because we all shared similar ideas, and we noticed that the things we talked about, like motivation, active learning, problem solving, etc., they are all interconnected. So if we work in the future on the scenarios, on the tasks in which we could develop those things, we can make the situation better by conducting even one task, and we can address many issues by conducting one task. That's our conclusion. So most of us agreed that active learning is crucial, and we said that it might be done by collaborative learning, by conducting projects. Also, Rika mentioned project-based learning in her country. What's more, Adrian from Hungary, she said that she would like to develop thought-provoking skills of her students, and I think that it's a great idea. And if we give students a challenge, so this will be thought-provoking, and in this way we will develop their problem-solving skills. So we all agreed that, for example, projects like ASEF projects are great opportunities to do that. What else? Lucia from Slovakia, she emphasized the importance of Erasmus Plus program we have in Europe to conduct projects both online, but also, visiting partners in their countries. Rashmi from India emphasized the importance of organizing discussions like international discussions, debates, in which students not only present their opinions, but they also have to conduct some kind of research to get prepared for such a presentation. And later, when they present, when they take part in the discussion, they develop their public speaking skills, which are crucial these days. And teachers often forget about that, being concentrated on doing exercises all the time. What else? There were some voices from Philippines that incorporating some vocational activities like baking, cookery, carpentry is not only an occasion to earn some money, but it's also a great occasion to develop students' social skills, because they interact with each other, they do something together, they must have a leader to take care of the management of the project, etc. Okay, so as I've said, we all agreed that there are some values, some most important things that we would like to work on in our teams, and we all agreed that also learning from each other, I mean learning from teachers' experiences and learning what they do in their schools might be really inspirational for all of us. I'm sure that some of the other members from my team may want to add something. Anybody from my team?
No? Okay, so I think when they're perhaps preparing with their comments, I have some important insights to share as well. So thank you so much, first of all, actively having the group discussion, and then thank you to Chorpang, Adam, and Martina for highlighting the conversation that took in your groups. I had a chance to briefly listen to the conversations you were having a little bit, and I saw that some of you were really passionate about some topics, as Adam and Chorpang just also mentioned. So I think our key goal is to put you in a team or allocate to you in a team where you feel the most passionate and motivated to work on a topic that you really care about, not force you to do something else that you don't want to do. So we will do a short survey, but before that, a clarification. It's so wonderful to hear that you care about so many things and you want to kind of change so many aspects in your school. And we have no doubt that you are changing, and contributing to improving your school scenario in a positive way. So this is school collaboration. This is kind of like a practice forum for you in a way where you don't work alone. You work with your peers from different countries, and also you have us and your facilitators to support you. So whatever initiative you want to take, whatever teaching practice you want to build, take this experience as a practice experience, just trial experience. So as you go through building an innovative teaching practice, and then you figure out what were the challenges, how was the ideation process like for you, what was the team conversation, you can use all of these insights after you are done with this project to do your next one, the one that you really want to implement in your school. So take this as a collective, how do you say, like a collaborative practice experience, right? So let's say you were really passionate about teaching social and emotional skills. However, since you need to work in a group setting, you need to compromise a little. Maybe you will be working on something different, but know that every topic is important, and you are going to develop something to build that the innovator's experience of how do I start, how do I build it. So it's not the end, right? The building a teaching practice is not the end, and it doesn't end here with this school collaboration. However, as we said, we want to motivate you. So we want to do a short survey. Let me quickly share my slide again. So does everyone see my slide again? Yes, right? Perfect. Sorry, let me, okay. So we had a great conversation, I think, for the question and answer session. Now we want to allocate team in a way where you can work on your preferred theme. So we don't want to just randomly allocate to you, because I saw some math teacher, for them, it was really important that they focus on active learning and engagement, because for that subject, it's crucial. So we don't want to do another formalistic survey where you need to fill out responses and click on the link. We want to do it right away, right now. So please type in the chat box. Please, every one of you, please type in the chat box your first preferred theme and your second preferred theme, so that when we allocate, we will try to allocate to you in a theme where you get to work on your first preferred theme. Our idea is to kind of produce innovative teaching practice on every theme, like 5 themes that we address. So hopefully we can have, team members who are addressing all 5. So please, I see that some responses are coming in. Thank you so much. You have to do both number 1 and then number 2, and then press enter, so that we have your responses all together in the chat, from the chat text. So instead of typing first option and then pressing enter, you just type first and then second, then you click send, so that it's together. You can just write SES, S-E-S, then we know that it's social emotional skill. Yeah. And active learning, then we know it active learning and engagement. Wow, a lot of active learning. I think some of us have to compromise a little, yeah. Wow, every option, almost every option is active learning and inclusion. Okay. So maybe those participants who couldn't join today, they're going to be the one in a way that need to compromise. So it's on a first come, first serve basis in a way, as NG would like to say. I think we give a few more minutes, and if all of you are done, if you could show the, in the reaction button, if you could just put a thumbs up, then we know that all of you are done. Then we can move on with our conversation. I think all of us are done, because I don't see any more new responses coming up. Let me quickly go back to my slide again. Sorry. So do you see my
Yep, we do see it.
Thank you, Angie. Okay, so what's next? Okay, here comes the I think a bit not complicated, but we still have to figure out some time to kind of meet. So of course, now you are going to embark on the action learning phase together with your team. So the first thing is, please wait for an email notification from us. We are going to share who are your team members and share a team invite email, so that you know your team members' contact details as well. Of course, we want to have a first check-in meeting just to see if all the team members are active, if you heard from everyone, have you started on the ideation phase. So we don't want to wait too late till December. So we want to have it as early as next week. So Friday, 25 November, so that we want to basically ensure that like all the teams are active. Even if you haven't done any ideation or any work, that's fine. But we just want to ensure that things are moving forward. So the first check-in meeting is confirmed. It will be on Friday, 25 November. If any of you cannot join, ensure that at least one member from your team is able to make it, so that, you know, during the check-in meeting, the facilitators will be there, Adam and Charpang will be there, we'll be there, and any questions that you may have, then we will address to support you in your ideation and innovative teaching practice building process. So the first draft submission, don't be stressed, please. It's not our idea is not to push you and then make you submit something. It's rather we want to know what ideas you have. So even if it's not complete, that's still okay. We just want to have a kind of like a bullet point impression of like what's going on, so that if you are on the right track, or if there is any challenges, or if there is something that we need to address, we can do that urgently. So that you can have a meaningful and productive experience as part of this process. And then, so we'll have the check-in meeting on 25 November. These dates, our sincere apologies that we are still finalizing. These are tentative. However, we will try to ensure that we try to stick to these dates as soon as possible, as much as possible. If anything changes, we will let you know right away. We will put it on the announcement section on our e-learning platform, and also we'll send an email. So we will have a feedback meeting. So when you share content and crucial information about what you were doing in a first draft, we will go through the draft together with Adam and Charpang, and then if there is any feedback, encouragement we need to give, we will do that. And then the closing and presentation, it will be on Thursday, 15 December, where you get to, as a team, you get to present in a way, elevator pitch. We don't want to hear everything because we want to hear from everyone. We want to hear the key part of your innovative teaching practice so that everybody knows what you have done. And we will give a template for that in terms of what you need to present. So you don't need to worry about that now. Please focus on ideation and focus on starting the process. Perhaps like in 2 weeks, we will give you maybe some direction of like exactly what you need to present, but it will not be more than 5 minutes for sure. And then, of course, after you present, hopefully after every presentation, we can give a very quick feedback or a written feedback after the presentation through email. And then you need to work on finalizing the teaching practice depending on the feedback, and then submit it on Thursday, 22nd of December, just before Christmas. So in a way, it will be a Christmas present to us from you. Yeah, so with that, I don't have anything else to add. I think if any of you have, I'm going to stop sharing the screen so that we get to see each other's face. I think if you have any last minute questions, please feel free to address them now. I think
I do actually.
Yes, please, Martina.
Yes, about the task that we have to complete. So there is a link, I've seen that. So originally it was for a Saturday, but it's going to be handed in by tomorrow, or
no?
Is that
there are
no?
2 tasks, and we are really grateful to this, to you, these participants from this collaboration, because compared to the other one, apologies that I'm making the comparison, but almost all of you have done it, the identity envelope exercise. So 50 plus of you have completed the exercise, but it's still few more to go. So that one is by tomorrow, because the deadline was quite a few weeks ago. No, not quite a few weeks ago, but quite a long time ago. So it's the
But that was the first, so
yes.
The first activity.
Yes.
Ah, okay.
If you have done it, yeah, you don't have to
Okay.
worry. So it's tomorrow, because that information, we want it as soon as possible so that we can share the insight with your team member. We can let your team member know, here is the identity envelope of your team member, so that you get to know each other better. So before we can send those team invitation, we really need it. So that's why we need it by tomorrow. I mean, if by tomorrow we don't receive, there is not much we can do, but we will still try to encourage everyone, because to get a certificate for the completion of this collaboration, you have to do the exercises. And then the other one is an impact activity, basically 3 things, 3 word or sentences related to things that you care about in terms of creating learning environment, 2 sentence or 2 word related to how you want your students to describe your holistic teaching moment, and then one word or one sentence about the key outcome you care about the most. So it's actually shouldn't take more than 10 minutes, you know. It just, if I go for word option, it just like 3, 2, 1 word.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
So that's by Saturday. So I think if no one has any more questions, we are exactly finishing the session exactly on time. We have still 1 more minute to go, but we really, Angie and I, together with Rekha, who couldn't be here today because another session is going on, and together with Adam and Chorpang, we would like to really sincerely thank you, because you know, we know how busy teachers are, how, you know, you all have really busy schedule, and despite that, you have made the effort to participate in live sessions, and we cannot thank you enough for that. It really means a lot to us that you were putting the effort and putting the time. So thank you so much. Have a great weekend, and then please look out for an email from us regarding the team. Yeah, with that, bye everyone.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.
Have a
Bye.
nice week. Bye.
Bye. Bye, everyone.